Welcome to Mechanics Alliance Tuesday Night Live, where the internet works and the lights don't matter.
You look better in the dark anyway.
Thank you.
Always something. Always something.
You know, I got to be honest, the Master Soaper is just in the room around the corner for me, whipping up a custom order of bubblegum scrubby bars.
Really? Ooh, smell good, does it?
Oh boy. If you like bubblegum, you come here, you'll eat a whole pack of it. I tell you what. It is delicious.
Bazooka, that was the best.
Yeah, just about. Let's see. We got a comment on the Facebook side. Oh, Kevin Meyer is live in everywhere on YouTube, on the group. Good grief, Kevin, you get around.
Yes, he does.
Isn't there a Beach Boys song about that?
Yeah,
round, round, get around, I get around. Woo!
I don't know which is worse, that him singing or the dad jokes. And then
I was going to say
we have a new client out in where's he at? Where's Christopher at?
I think Missouri.
No. That's David Marks. That's a new shop that we have that just came online today. So if you guys are looking for a place to work and you're willing to relocate, or you're already in the St. Louis area, I almost called it internet or energy, whatever. If you're in that area of St. Louis, we have got the shop for you that is looking for a killer technician. So get a hold of me, Marv, Travis.
Anybody.
Travis.
There you go.
There.
You got it.
Anybody. Just get a hold of anybody.
Get a hold of one of the Mechanic Alliance admins, and we'll get you pointed in the right place and get you squared up to the point where you will have the job that you want to go to work for.
Can you imagine an owner that walks out every quarter and unloads $500 onto your tool bill? I mean, that's $2,000 a year in tools. Dude, you got to love that.
Sweet.
Got to love
it. Kevin says, where are all the listeners, Facebook or YouTube? Well, right now, you're like the it.
You're it. It's you and me, Kevin, buddy. It's you and me.
Apparently, this is like the least attended beginning of the Mechanic Alliance Tuesday Night Live we've ever had. Kevin, you are like the only one watching, so congratulations. We are here to entertain you.
And as Eric usually says, that's 1,000 internet points we're going to send you.
Yeah, we have no idea what they're good for yet. We haven't figured them out, but
but
internet points. Internet points. Just throw them around. Woo! They're like beads at Mardi Gras. Just not as much fun.
Well, I think aren't a lot of school districts starting to kick up? I know here. I think we start tomorrow or something. So
we start on the 17th out here.
Yeah, so I get a lot of stuff's happening right now in the family realm.
Oh yeah, back to school nights, all those kind of things. To meet the teacher. My kids are homeschooled, so they have never left school. So
they meet the teacher every day.
Yep, kick them out of bed. Get moving.
Yep.
Learn something.
I homeschooled a couple of mine. It's the best thing I ever did for them because otherwise I don't think they'd be where they are today.
I mean, have you seen what's going on in the world?
Oh, yeah. Well, cool. But the beautiful thing is you can always rewatch this later too, right?
That's right. Yep. For all of you people who are watching this later, thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah, we value your post-mortem viewership.
Your post.
I almost said pardon, but I knew that was wrong.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm dying later tonight, guys. So I appreciate the postmortem.
Postmortem. Yeah, I doubt you're dying.
Well, he's got a blue Powerade. He's staying hydrated. He's not going to die yet.
No, he's rocking and rolling, brother.
I used to like blue Powerade and Pepsi. Just start going back and forth. That was tasty. It was a drinking problem. I ran out of hands.
Yeah, you do have a drinking problem. It was somebody the other day asked, I think it was Joe Bloom said, where did you get that mug that big?
That's the gas station special. I haven't seen those in years, though.
Yeah, me either. That's huge, man.
7-Eleven carries them regularly. 7-Eleven, call me. Need a sponsorship with 100-ounce mugs. It's full of ice water. It's not anything.
I'm not
exciting.
I'm not gonna lie. If you can get us a Mechanic Alliance discount code at the gas station, I'm on board.
Man, that's like Maverick save you 2 cents at the pump. Woo!
There you go. Maybe we need to look into getting those big mugs and putting our logo on the side.
Ooh. Hey, comment if you guys would buy a Mechanic Alliance 100-ounce mug that you can fill with ice water or whatever other liquid you can fill it
Your favorite drink. You could be at work and say you're just drinking water, and it could be full of vodka.
Who doggy?
just
One
want you to know,
tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor.
I already see it. It would probably either be Zach or Bobby. That thing full of rock star.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah. See, I can do 1 or 2 a day, but man, some of these guys can put that stuff down. It's like I get the zing.
See, I'm cheap, so it's the Great Value brand. It's the caffeinated black cherry.
Oh,
that's my pick me up.
Absolutely.
So Kevin wants Slurpees. 100-ounce Slurpee, dude. That's a lot of sugar. Just saying.
That's a lot of sugar.
But I guess, if you're out there in one of those shops that doesn't have air conditioning, you probably need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have that 7-Eleven Slurpee day, and literally anything you bring in, you can fill. I've seen people bring in like 5-gallon buckets, all kinds of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, look it up. It's awesome, man. It really
Holy
is.
moly. We don't have 7-Elevens.
Yeah, that's September 11th. Or no, July 11th usually is 7-Eleven.
Did they do it on 7-Eleven? Yeah.
For a few years they did, before a thing that ran rampant allegedly around the world that shall not be mentioned for fear of getting whacked by the algorithm.
Shadow banned?
No. That is the word that shall not be spoken around here, because we don't need that.
Yeah.
We can get a little disclaimer on the bottom.
There you go.
Yeah, fact check.
There you be. Fact check. Yeah. Yeah. We learned recently what that was. That was just somebody's opinion, which we already knew. So anyway.
So Marv, what do we have coming up? Because I know we're having fun here. What's new and exciting with Mechanic Alliance? Because we've kind of peeked into it.
Oh, we've got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we actually have some companies we're working with right now. We have some things we're going to be rolling out shortly with the team here. We're even working on something for next year, September, October. We're going to share here in a little bit. We're just motating. Things are happening. The crew's doing great. Aaron's on another deal right now, training. We got Dave writing business plans. I'm doing resumes. The guru over there is doing all the SEO stuff. And now we got the great guy, Travis, out here that's going to educate us with mentorship. He picked up his first mentorship student today. It's just a happening.
So, disclaimer, fact checkers' opinions we can neither confirm nor deny. There we go.
There you go. Oh, brother, leave it to you.
Yeah, so we've been working on a bunch of stuff, and we've got most of the mentorship up and running now. We've got the basic plan for the direction that we're going to be pushing our mentoring students through. We were going to do a 2-tiered setup. So the intention is you can walk into the mentorship like this young lady that we just got in, where she's actually graduating college. She's got about 2 years of experience. And as she progresses through this mentorship, she'll be a solid B-Tech at the end of it. She'll be capable of doing 90% of electrical diagnostics. She'll have a firm grasp of OBD2 diagnostics, and then of course our more simple, I don't want to say easy stuff, but less mentally straining when it comes to suspension and brakes and that kind of stuff. But we're rolling it out. Luckily, Marvin got us a nice little shop tie-in with Lily, who's going to be kind of an in-person mentor for her as well. So she's getting a heck of a start. She really is. And I had the chance to chit chat with her for a little bit before I came in, and dude, her head's screwed on straight. She's got a great understanding, and she's actually excited to learn. So I mean, that's exciting for me. I hate to be negative about it, but finding a technician that's excited to learn and wants to continue education that's below that 35, 40-year-old mark is just such a nice, refreshing thing. So I'm looking forward to us having a lot more of this.
The thing that I like about this is that I learned early on when I had my diagnostic company, and it was actually Reed's Diesel in Gunnison, Utah. His sister was working for him. And I walk in, this lady's got an engine out of a Chrysler van or something on the floor. I'm just going, dude, wow. And so I was training up in that area. It was Manti, it was Gunnison, Utah. And that gal, and I've had other gals, are fantastic with diagnostics. Yeah. They are just the bomb. They are the ones that that, like I've said before, they follow the flow chart exactly. We'll jump from A to H. So to have a young gal at that age come in and look at doing that stuff, again, it doesn't mean she'll go electrical, but diagnostics, I guarantee you, she'll kick most guys' butts.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
And there's been a stigmatism with girls getting into this field since this field existed. And the thing I've seen over and over and over again, half the time they're better than us at certain sections of it. I mean, we had a young lady at Toyota that was an interior electrical tech, and she was vertically challenged, so she fit in the interior quite a little better than some of us big guys. But she'd run circles around us. Yeah, I mean, she was an absolute riot too, because she could dish it out a lot harder than most of the guys could. So it was kind of fun watching her tear some of the guys down. But that's another thing I'm starting to see more and more of. I mean, I'm enjoying that a lot of women are starting to get into this field, and it's kind of refreshing. So we had a young lady at my shop for, I'd say, about 3 or 4 months, and she was absolutely fantastic. And the only reason I gently kind of pushed her towards a different way is she actually got a full ride scholarship over at Cummins. And they were offering her more money than I could have contemplated offering her at that point in my shop. So I was like, hey, go do it. Go do it.
Do you know if she's still there?
Last time I talked to her, which I'll admit it's been about 1.5 years, she was the CAN communications and integration specialist at Cummins in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Wow.
So
see, that's really important, and we should invite some of these women tech organizations in too, because like I said, they bring a whole different value to it. And when we're talking electrical and diagnostic stuff, it's more brain power than brawn anyway.
Yeah.
And not to mention fitting back behind those dashboards. My hands are a little beefy for that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I see that Devin here worked with a female tech, and he said she could weld way better than I could. One of my best parts people I ever knew was a lady too, Monica. I mean, she was fantastic. So they bring something to our culture.
And Lily Kennan in the comments says that she says, I'm one of the women in the field that's vertically challenged.
Lily, I don't think so. From what we're hearing, and you might feel like that now, but
we'll have you walking into a shop like an absolute giant, I promise.
Well, and yeah, even if you're talking on your height, that's great for under dash work. Good criminy. I can't even get down on my back anymore and get out at 62. It's like I'm stuck. Help.
I was just gonna say, I'm not gonna lie. I used to invite the girl to come over and pull out those actuators on top of the HVAC box. I can get it all the way loose, and my hand couldn't get back there. And I'm like, hey, you wanna pull this out for me?
Can you do the thing that I can't quite get to? And I ladies, I'm not trying to be any which way, but I have worked with some very, very short Asian guys that had the same ability to get into those obscenely tight places.
Yeah.
And it was like, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a place for all of us. I mean, there really is. There's a place for the football player guy that rips that engine out with 2 arms and a hoist, and well, even when I was younger, we'd lay on the ground when we first started, and I was just starting out, the old Toyota SR5s, and I'd do a tranny, and I'd be laying with it on my chest, and I'd do that clutch job and line it up and slide it in, and, but electrical and those kind of things are very important. So, Lily, I'm going to ask you, while Travis is talking, to post what your strengths and your weaknesses are that you think, and where we can help you.
My strengths: I'm the guy you want on the end of the breaker bar doing 100 or 450 foot-pounds, because I got the beef. I got the beef for that.
Yes.
I started working on medium duty stuff, and all of a sudden I started putting on weight. Weird how that works. It's like, oh, you got to break a tire down by hand. You should be over 200 pounds. So, but
I'm over 200 pounds. I don't think I want to try and do that.
So on the mentorship program, we've got a good chunk of the online resources already up in our training vault. So, Eric, I was actually going to get with you. We're going to make a separate little section. Once you sign up for the mentorship, it's going to automatically open up one section of the training on the Mechanic Alliance side that'll have the couple of things that you're going to need to be required to do throughout your mentorship program. The idea behind having two different levels is the first level is pretty much going to be your like C-line upsell, used car tech, like the guy who's not going to do a ton of diagnostics, but he should be able to hang and do, I'd say 70% of repairs. So once you graduate from our program from the level 1 to the level 2, obviously you're going to get a sweet little certificate that we're designing, and it's going to be awesome. And you'll also walk away with a ASE G1 certification, which is ASE's new general light repair and maintenance certification. And it's kind of like Master Tech Light is the best way to explain it. You know, you're not going to be an expert in brakes. You're not going to be an expert in suspension or anything else, but you're going to be able to show, hey, I've got a basic understanding of how all of this operates and how all of it comes apart, how it's to be repaired, and the common things that break. You should also be able to fully explain and understand, you know, basic maintenance of cars, belts, brakes, tune-ups, that kind of stuff. Pretty much your basic stuff, but having that certification and then our certification with it as well will open up a lot of doors just in general. So if you are sticking it out at a shop that you're not a huge fan of to get your foot in the door, once you make it to that first level, you know, reach out to Marvin, reach out to Eric, and we can see if we can make the place you're at better, or if we can reach out to one of our affiliates and get you into a shop that's going to value you.
So Lily has come back and said, as long as comments stop coming in for a brief moment so I can read, my strengths really are engine work and diagnostic mainly. Weakness is HVAC and electrical. Tell you what, I'm going to give you a little tiny piece of advice on the electrical side. Keep the smoke in. That's what makes it all work, is the smoke.
And no one has come up with a tool to put the smoke back in yet.
No, not yet.
Once you let the smoke out, it's kind of broke.
It's just gone, yeah.
It's funny how that works. This stuff is mysterious.
I don't know how they get it in the first place, but they sure do. All right, guys, I got to bounce over to another class, so I'll catch you guys a little later.
We'll see you back in just a moment.
All right, see you guys.
Be safe, buddy. I actually used to have my master tech used to tell me all the time, the smoke coming out of the computer is not a genie coming out. You will just wish that you had a wish.
You're going to wish you had a genie after that moment. No. And electrical work, it's terribly important. I once had an issue with a 81 Monte Carlo. Beautiful car. And a ground had degraded, got missed. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but there was a ground that should have been from the body to the block at the back of the head, intake manifold area, that wasn't there. It decided to ground itself out through the kickdown linkage and take a whole bunch of nastiness to the ground. So not only did it fry the entire engine harness from like where it pops through the firewall through and around to that connector by the HVAC, but I also had to replace a kickdown linkage in a metric turbo 350. That sucked.
And
little tiny hook.
And I'm a Chrysler guy through and through. I mean, you guys still see, sorry, turning the wrong way. I've got the 64 Dart that's moved exactly 3 inches from the last time we talked. We had a fuse block that went through the firewall from, God, I want to say about 66 all the way up until early 70s, no, early 80s, late 70s. But the positive terminal would get too much resistance and it would melt the block until it went down and shorted out the whole thing. And I'd be in the same boat as you, to where it's, oh, cool, we're going to replace the harnesses now.
Yep. And at the time, they didn't repop the harness, so I had to rebuild the harness by hand. Yeah. And then come a month later, the new catalog of OPGI comes out, and suddenly I can find a complete engine harness for it. It's like
inexpensive.
A month.
Too. Yeah.
It was like $120, and I spent geez, I think I had 15 or so hours just going through getting everything back to where it needed to be.
Plus that roughly $150 in wire.
Yeah. I didn't. Admittedly, I did the kind of the hackery thing of I didn't stick with the wire code. They were all red, except I found enough good wire in my stash to be able to keep the color code consistent on the very end where it's important.
All right, I'll take that.
So,
but yeah, on the mentorship thing, so that's kind of going to be the first step. We do want to kind of chit chat with you and make sure that you got the right mindset too, because like me and you have spoken about quite a few times, Eric. Half of this is mindset. Half of it's keeping your brain in the right spot. You're gonna have bad days. I've been in this field 18 and a half years. There is more than one day I'm going to leave my shop contemplating how much gas it would take to burn the thing to the ground. There's also other days that you walk out of there and you're like, hey, somehow I cleared 47 hours today. I'll take it. But so, I mean, that's going to be kind of the first thing. Once you've made it through that first, you get your G1 certification and you get your blessing from your actual mentor, you're going to move on to mentorship 2, which is going to be when we're going to start encouraging you to take the rest of the ASEs. You're going to want to see at least 2, preferably 3 additional ASE certifications. EPA has designated that you need a 609 certification to do any HVAC work now. I have seen the EPA be kind of crappy about it. From my understanding, the EPA is going to start enforcing that more seriously up over the next couple of years. And part of that is, everyone here knows I'm a big proponent of the hybrid and electric vehicles. The OSHA and EPA are both coming out with some disposal information and electric vehicle shop guidelines that they're also going to start forcing down our throat. So I have this magical feeling that EPA and OSHA will be coming to a lot of shops over the next couple of years. So guys, this is the subtle hint. If you don't have your 609, go get your 609.
Might be a good time to get into that.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. So, I mean, there's a lot of OSHA. We hate those 4 letters, trust me. But there's a lot of things that, these governing bodies are holding the industry to. And as much as we don't like them, we recognize that there are good ways and bad ways to work within them. And having the right equipment to do the job correctly.
Yes.
That avoids a lot of what OSHA tries to bring up.
And on top of that, using the equipment the right way. I have lost my ever-living niceness more than once when I was at Ford, when I walk in and someone is using my battery table as a way to drop a cradle assembly. And it's like, you see that really fancy coating on it? That's there for a reason. It's not supposed to get oil on it, guys. So, but so that's kind of that. But with the with the level 2, we're going to really want to see 2-3 more ASE certifications. There is some more training that is going to be through the Mechanic Alliance website that will be made available at that time, that we'll want you to go ahead and take. I do want you to take one in-person online class, the ones that like Aaron's doing. I know there's a few others that have done them. Just to kind of go in line with your ASE certifications. So, I mean, if you decide the 3 ASEs you want are, suspension, brakes, and transmission, it's not going to make a ton of sense for you to take a deep dive electrical class for that. But, as we grow, we'll have transmission classes, and, we'd like you to take one of those just to kind of further your education, kind of get you to the point where you've started to specialize in one thing, yet you're good at everything. I did put on our list, for the second one, we have a couple of leadership classes, that kind of stuff. We've also got some of like knowing your worth, knowing what you're worth, negotiating your pay, all those kind of things. And that's going to be in our second one as well, because part of you graduating from the Mechanic Alliance Level 2 mentorship, you're going to help us introduce and kind of walk a new mentee through the program as well. You're not going to have to be massively involved, to just kind of first couple of times just be like, hey, this is what it did for me, this is what I've learned, and if they have questions that they're comfortable asking you, please be there for them. But with that, the other side of this is we want to see you graduate from the position you joined the mentorship with to your next position. So if you joined as a lube tech, we want to see at the end of your level 2, you making the move from becoming from a lube tech to, that there's every dealership has different levels. But we want to see you go up to a used car tech, or even a C-line guy, or if you crush it and you've got the confidence for it, we'd love to see you go in and be a B-line line technician, like someone who does everything but deep diagnostics. There's a lot of ways to learn and grow through this, and that's the whole point of this program. This is building our next generation of technicians and watching them get built the right way.
Yeah, we as Mechanic Alliance, we're here to encourage the growth. We want to see you guys grow and succeed. We want to see you guys, achieve your dreams and get everything you've ever wanted. And kind of like we hit up earlier, mindset is everything. I'm your host of the Mindset Monday show. Monday Mindset, whatever. One of those two. But, realistically, there are so many things that you can achieve just by being in the right mindset. Being in the mindset to be willing to learn, to be willing to be taught, to be in a situation where you may be teaching somebody, because there's a lot of times you learn, more teaching than you do being taught. So, being in those situations are absolutely awesome. We want to make sure that you're able to build your career the way that you want to see fit. And if it turns out that you ultimately want to go out on your own and do your own thing, we've got you covered. We can help you there too. We joke about the jack of all trades, master of none. But the next part is oftentimes better than a master of one. We try to be, have resources to get you into whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, and something I've told a lot of technicians in my time in the field, and I kind of touched on it earlier, I am not a fan of what these dealerships are doing now. Most of these dealerships want you to specialize in one area and pretty much know nothing about the others. Thankfully, there are a few that are starting to see the error in that and get away from it. But there's a lot of technicians that are trained that way. I know guys that they're front end guys, and they can drive your truck and tell you everything that's wrong in the front end without ever lifting into the air. And it's the coolest thing ever. It really is. But if you tell them, hey, the windshield wipers don't work, they struggle on it for the next 2.5 hours. And the whole time it's like, it's a bad relay. So I've told a lot of technicians over my years, become good at everything. Every person on the planet should be a bumper to bumper technician. There shouldn't be anything on the car that you really can't do a lot with. I'll give 2 exceptions to that. Automatic transmission, because those things, they're complicated inside. So if you say, hey, you know what, I figured out it's inside of the transmission, I need a specialist for this, I'm not going to be offended. And hybrids electrical, just because if you don't know what you're doing, you might not go home that night. So I don't blame you for not wanting to get your hands deep in that. But on a day-to-day basis, if it's got the complaint on the ticket, you should be able to do it. Now, that being said, if you want to specialize in one thing on top of that, that just makes you work even more. You look at transmission specialists, a lot of these transmission specialists, man, they're clearing out $42-$43 an hour without really an issue. And there's people headhunting these guys at $45-$50 trying to get them in. But the majority of them have that skill set to where if they don't have transmission working, They can pull in diagnostic work. They can pull in brakes. They can pull in suspension issues and not really have a lot of issues. So that's part of what we're encouraging with mentorship. We want you to be bumper to bumper. If you want to specialize in something, we will definitely help you do that. I am starting to get more and more stuff together on hybrid electrical stuff. So we're going to start having more classes for that. I know we've got a couple of transmission guys in the group, so hopefully we can encourage them to give us some deep dive diagnostics for the transmissions, because I'll actually be excited for that. I haven't really played inside of transmissions too much, but we have people for every part of this field. I mean, if there's something you want to specialize in, tell us. We'll find it.
I like the way you said transmission guys and not trans guys.
You got to you got to specify nowadays.
Yeah, today we just can't be too sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, the automatic transmission is one of those things that when it works, it's a thing of beauty. But when it doesn't, you got hopes and dreams and disappointment.
Yeah, my old transmission guy told me this a long time ago. He's like, oh, yeah, the easiest way for you to think about it is power goes in this side, magic happens, gears come out of this side. And I was like, all right, works for me.
I mean, at least the manual transmission, you can see all the parts and how they actuate. In series, the gears have to mesh. We get that.
And I've taken apart quite a few Volkswagen manual transmissions, the old bus transmission, 096s, that kind of stuff. And I've got a good principle of those. But yeah, automatics have I understand them. I've passed the ASE for them somehow. But in real life, I've taken apart and rebuilt a 700 R4 that my buddy's dad literally stood over my shoulder and pretty much told me what I was doing wrong the whole time. And then other than that, I started to rebuild in Ford AOD, and I scored a T56 for $700. So the AOD went in the trash can.
Yep. I play with a Turbo 350 in my El Camino, and I handed that off to a guy who knew way more than I did, and that thing comes back and it shifts now.
Yeah,
it's mean.
Yeah,
not something I could have done on my own. I would have been like, yeah.
And that's the thing is, I mean, those transmission guys, they're worth their weight in gold, man. They really, really are. I'm blanking the gentleman's name, and I'm really sorry about that, because I know he's actually been popping on our YouTube channel lately, kind of kicking around joining, and he's the one I'm subtly hinting that I need him to join and do some classes. But he builds race transmissions back in Albuquerque. That's all he does. If it's stock, he don't build it. But that being said, he's been doing a lot of the newer stuff lately, and he was talking to me, it's been about a month now, and they just built one of those 10R80s, the new 10-speed Ford. And he told me that they made a box out of a Mega Squirt system to manually control it. But he drilled out some passages and everything else, and he said they shattered a carbon fiber drive shaft out of a GT350 with it. That's how hard this thing shifts. It's cool, because it's the what did he say? It's a offset high volume fluid pump transmission, if that makes sense to anyone out there. So
I'm just gonna nod my head because it sounds legit.
Yeah, I know he told me he charged the guy $5,200 to do that transmission. And that was him. Here's the transmission. He builds it, hands it back to the guy. That's not install anything else. That's just building it.
And, truthfully, if you're going to have a part doing transmissions, that's the part that would be really cool to have. Is you want to specialize in going through those magic boxes of weirdness? If you're going to specialize, that would be cool. You don't want to be the guy, and I apologize for my kids in the background. They're doing
you're good.
things.
They're kids.
But, being the guy that takes it in and out, that's a lot of wear on your body. I mean, those things aren't exactly light. And even with all the shop help in the world, there's going to be a point at which it's going to be, oh, crap, that's a little too overbalanced. Crap, push it back up.
You get guys like,
moment.
You get guys like me, like, I'm not the biggest person in the world, but like I gym pretty consistently. I've gotten to the point now to where I won't bother trying to find the transmission jack or fight with the stupid transmission jack that we know where it is, but it leaks, and I'll just shoulder the darn thing and just slide it in. And I'm sure in 10, 15 years, my body's going to be like, hey, you remember all those transmissions you did? I do.
You make me hurt just thinking about it.
But I mean, transmissions aren't the only specialty, though. I mean, we have Mike Christopherson's in our group. There's another gentleman that I am, again, his name's escaping me, but they do a lot of computer module stuff, and they're in the same boat. A lot of these guys will send them computers to clone. They don't do a lot of heavy lifting. They don't do a lot of cars anymore. I'm gonna have to find out the other gentleman's name, but he mostly does immobilizers, RCMs, and BCMs. And his whole thing is, if you've got a car that's been in a collision or something like that, you can send him your old module and the new module, and he will bench flash it from all your old info onto the new module, and you just install it. And those guys are charging, $200-300 a module to do that. And they're not even having to go out to the cars. So, I mean, specialization, there is money in it. But like I was saying, if you're going to be in a shop and you're not going to own your own gig, you still got to be bumper to bumper. That way, for the transmission guy, if you don't have any transmission work and you don't know anything else, you're sitting on your butt for free. Like, there's nothing else about that. If you're the electrical diag specialist and you don't understand anything but electrical diag, if they don't have an electrical work, you're, again, sitting for free. I mean, and thanks to Marvin and you guys, there are more and more shops that are starting to either do hybrid pay, which I'm a huge, huge fan of, or just flat out hourly. Just pay the guy for when he's there. So, I mean, there are the exceptions to the rule, but the majority of shops are commission. So if you specialize and you only know that specialty and you don't learn bumper to bumper, you don't have a base in anything else, if you don't have work, you showed up to work for free.
I liked one of the owners we talked to recently, Eric. A couple of them, actually, they had a hybrid, like you said, the hybrid deal, but I liked that he cross-trained all his techs.
Yeah.
So they did all of it. And so there was never going to be that issue. In fact, they didn't have a lube person. It's just the next one came in, you did the lube, and you worked on to the next job. It was actually working really well. I think that might have been Bob.
Yeah, that was Bob was Silverdale Auto in
Washington State.
Yeah, Washington, across the sound from
Seattle. His techs are bringing in 100,000 a year. I mean, it's just everybody's on deal. But he lined up all of his techs have their own screen at their toolbox. From what I understand, they all have their own headphones, so they're talking with the service riders back and forth. His efficiency's through the roof. And so, some of these owners are starting to see and realize the way to make that happen. The thing is it's that always drives me nuts, especially with your mentorship program. As I traveled with Grease Monkey International, I'd always talk to the guy down in the pit, and it was usually from our corporate stores. They were the worst, that they didn't pay him anything. And I'd say, why are you here? What do you like about this? And they just loved working on cars. But they would only last for a year and a half and fizzle out because nobody was taking them like you're doing now, Travis, and we're doing, taking them from this place to move them into the industry. It's next week we'll talk about homegrown techs is what I'm going to be talking on. But it's the same thing. It's get them from that point into that because they want to work on cars. But I would look at it, and honestly, I'd think, geez, the guy's making $9 an hour sitting down in the pit, sweating his guts out. He can go work at a burger place for $15, so he makes $6 times 40. That gives him $1,000 extra a month to work on his own car. Why would he want to work there?
Well, we've talked in the personal chat and venting, I'm still fighting with my management to understand what a lube tech's worth, and they're frustrated because we can't hire anyone. And it's like, you guys are offering them less than Chick-fil-A. You're offering less than Walmart's Quick Lube. Of course I can't hire guys. Like, have another thing to say.
Yeah, you're fighting with the fast food places. We have In-N-Out, and they're on the West Coast here, but they're paying their people like $15 an hour. They'd have a 401k. They start with vacation pay, and they get free food, and it's air conditioned.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to beat. I mean, except that they like working on cars, and that's the key. They like working on the cars.
And something that, you know, I know me and you have talked about this, Marv, and my management has heard an absolute earful about this. The thing is people are willing to suffer for a career, and we've gotten in this experience of the lube tech is just a job. Like, it's just a job. They don't treat it like anything else. So I have issues hiring for it. I can't get people to take a lower pay because, I mean, let's face it, if you go to Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna pick on them because they overpay and it's beautiful. But you go to Chick-fil-A, it's $17 an hour. All right, cool.
Wow.
If you become a manager there, I think it's 42, and then the store manager, which is as high as you can go, is like, I think it's 80 or 70 or 80,000.
It's a lot of money.
That's and it's good money. You got one chance to be that store manager though. So you've got one person, you've got 17 people that want to do it. Your odds aren't great. Now, on that same note, if I tell you, hey, I can't bring you in at $17 an hour, I can bring you in $15 an hour to be a lube tech. Over the next year and a half, I'm going to train you to be able to do brakes and the basic stuff, and I'm going to take you off the lube line, and I'm going to put you in an upsell position or something along those lines. That's going to bring, you know, $18, $19 an hour. But hey, at that point, it's commission, so you can make as much as you want.
Yeah.
You know what? That just took that kid who is just going to go to Chick-fil-A and go, you know what? I could suffer for a year because after that I could become a technician. I could turn this into a career. And I mean, I make a good wage, especially considering where I live. I know people in big cities that clear healthy 6 digits. I mean, yeah, it's not fun working for a little bit less than your buddy at Chick-fil-A for a year and a half. But if you know, hey, this is a career, this isn't just a job, you know, you're going to suffer for it a little bit. But, you know, how many times have we seen dealerships or independent shops blow through, you know, 7-8 lube techs in a year?
Yeah.
This is true. I remember, you know, straight out of high school, I had several friends of mine that were all in the high school auto shop program. Several of them went to the Jiffy Lube, you know, the quick lubes. And one of them stayed there for quite a few years. It was like, why are you still here? Haven't you, one, aspired to something greater? Nope, best job I can get. It's like,
And that boils back down to that mindset thing. I mean, and I've met and I know quite a few technicians that, you know, they're stuck at $22, $23 an hour, and they're doing work that a $30 an hour guy should be doing, and their mindset is, well, this is as good as I can get. It's like, dude, you can get so much more. Well, it's all I've ever been offered, and you got to ask, dude.
We're big believers in know your worth. Understand what it is that you really are worth.
Yeah.
And don't be scared to ask. What's the worst that's going to happen? You walk into the boss's office and go, hey, man, I need like a $3 raise. And he says, no. All right, cool. You're going to walk out of there making the same thing you walked in before. Like, you literally lost nothing.
You're right. And what I tell guys and gals is that you need to get with us first, because you just don't go in and ask for it. There's a process you need to go through. And a lot of people don't realize that. They just go, well, I want a raise. Well, why? I mean, we have a whole class. If you're a member, you can get on the Mechanic Alliance site, and you can see that class in there of how you prep yourself for that raise. You need to be able to bring something to the table. Just like these mentors, as we get them going and they're moving up and all that too, that's one of the things they'll be trained. It's like when they go for a job, and any of our people that we do resumes for and all that, we design the resume for exactly what they want to work for. If they want to be a service writer, if they want to be diagnostics, if they want to be heavy line, if they want to be management, and we design it that way so that when they look at that, when the person looks at that resume, they can go, oh, that's perfect for that spot that I'm hiring for. And that's the thing is with when you ask for a raise, people just go in and they just don't know how to do it. And it takes a little bit of finesse. First off, you got to make sure the boss is in a good mood, right? Because that's not a good thing. He just lost a $4,500 engine job or tranny job that somebody screwed up on. It's not the time to go say, hey, Travis, I need a raise.
Yeah, he's been fighting with his wife all morning. You should probably wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, no,
agreed.
There is some tactics to that when you go in, it's like, and one of the first things I give it to you right now is, what have you contributed to that shop in the last year that you've been there? What have you done? Well, I helped organize this, or we build efficiency through this, or I'm here every day and I'm the first one here, last one here. Those kind of things. Those are the things that build you for that. Mm-hmm. You got to have substance before I'm going to give you a raise.
This also kind of goes back into last week when we had Dave Bonica on, where he got with us and says, hey, what can I do to improve this? And we gave him a handful of ideas. He took it and ran and created tremendous value. In his dealership that he was service writing for, service advising. I can never get those right. Dave, correct me if I screw it up. But one of those two. And they says, yeah, we really like what you're doing. So he went in, asked for a raise, says, hey, we can do you one better. How about a promotion?
Yeah.
And I mean, I owned my own for 3.5 years. I was blessed because before then I got to know quite a few shop owners, and I had one actually kind of bring me under his wing and show me how to run a shop. And something that I don't remember if he said it or it was one of the guys in the shop owners group. We used to have a group that met up on Sundays for breakfast. But someone said, your technicians, your guys, all of your employees are only worth what they're making you. And that boils down to, you know what, if I got a guy who pushes out 100, 150 hours in labor, he's worth more than the guy pushing out 70. Like the guy pushing out 70 could be an amazing human being, and I could go have beer with him every day after work. But the guy pushing 100 hours, he's getting a raise. Like, sorry. Or even past the hours and making me money. If I've got something as a shop owner I have to take care of, and I need a guy, hey man, I need you to go open the shop for a week for me, just in the mornings. I could deal with everything after that. If you have someone willing to step up and do that, you just made me money, because now I don't have to have the shop opening late. There's a lot of ways that you can make the shop money without it being directly on paper. Sometimes it's not hours flagged. Sometimes, I mean, for the writers and the advisors that are in this group, man, it's how you guys deal with the customers. I've had some absolute rock stars. Brandon Bannis, he's going to be the one that I'm going to mention by name till the day I die. He was an advisor we had at Chrysler, and Dodge had already gone to that team system to where you had one advisor, one lead technician, and then 3 or 4 guys underneath him. And Brandon's guys, I mean, the lowest guy flagging was usually clearing out 65, 70 hours a week. And what did you break, Eric?
Marv said, my gain's at max.
Okay, never mind.
It's actually on the bottom.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I was just checking.
Shameless plug. These darned Blue Yeti mics are some of the most picking upping things I've ever had. Apparently, you can hear my kids from a mile away.
And that's fine. I just wondered if your gain was there, because I have the dog here sometimes, and I have to turn the gain all the way up. So
no, the mute button on the front is my friend.
Yeah, Brandon, I mean, his lowest guy flag out 65 a week, not a period, a week. I mean, his team lead was Sean Baca, and Sean used to clear out, God, man, I'd see 240, 250 hour checks out of him for 2 weeks. I mean, but that was the thing is, Brandon could call you and sell you everything the car needed, all the maintenance you needed. You'd walk out of there happy. You'd know you weren't getting ripped off. And Brandon made friends out of probably 70% of his customers. Like, they'd go on Jeep stuff together. And sometimes your advisors, that's how they add a ton of value is, you're not physically flagging the hours out, but you're making sure those guys are flagging out excess hours consistently. So
we had a shop that we just signed on today. They run, and I had to bow my head because I run 112, 117% in diag. This whole shop runs 138% efficient. They work Monday through Friday. That means every tech's pushing out 55 to 60 hours a week. That's impressive. And they're done.
Really
40
is.
hours. They're done.
Yeah, it's really impressive when you find shops like that. How many technicians do they have?
He has 2.
He has 2.
I think he has 2. Him and himself, and then I think Lily's coming on now. He might have a third, but yeah, I mean and he has the system down. He has it down, and he's even going to get a little bit more from us on the diag side because we were talking about their diagnostic process. That's where I make a lot of my money. Is I can do that in 45 minutes and charge you $135. Yeah. I got 15 minutes left, and I'm already working on the next job, so my efficiency is through the roof.
Yeah. And don't be scared. Don't be scared on diag, guys. Even when you're going through your mentorship program. I mean,
oh, Travis, you froze. Anyway, we'll address a comment here. Bobby, that's some solid efficiency. The guy is all about efficient systems. Yeah. He's Mr. Systems.
Yeah, and he's an indie shop too. So you think about your parts and all that stuff. I mean, because there you go. You're back. He's back.
Welcome back. All right. Sorry. Where did I cut off, guys?
We were talking efficiency. You moved forward to say something, and that was kind of the it.
All right, cool. Yeah. No, I was saying, don't be afraid of diag. I mean, even when you're going through your mentorship program, even if you're, level 2 mentee, you've got to do some diagnostics. You understand enough electrical. Go through, do your electrical diagnostics. Make sure to charge for it. Hey, I've got to tear this door apart to check the wiring inside of this door to figure out why this door lock actuator doesn't work. Hey, that actuator pays an hour and a half to do. You should probably charge out at least an extra half in diag to make sure that's what we need. Because on that same note, if you charge out a customer an extra half hour of diag and you blow it apart and find, hey, I found a broken wire. Well, guess what? Now it didn't actually need that $450 actuator. You've actually just saved the customer money. Don't think that you're just... Yeah, don't think you're just getting extra out of the customer.
No, you never know when the previous damage and the previous monkeys that allegedly worked on it put the wiring harness in the wrong place and got it, stuck in the window track and beat the crap out of the wires.
Exactly.
Some wonderful guy used all the red wires on his firewall.
But I used the right colored ends on the end.
All red?
Just don't look in the middle.
All red?
Yes, all red.
Unbelievable.
You knew you were getting thrown under the bus at some point for that.
Bus chuckering. No, so I don't remember. Marv, you were here. Yeah, it was a 81 Monte Carlo. The somehow lost the ground strap at the back of the block to the body and decided it was going to take power to ground via the kickdown linkage.
I try not to think of that. That's just horrible.
So, but it's not bad. It's not all bad because there was enough sections of good wire plus what I had, in my collection that I was able to use the correct colored ends. So as long as you don't pull it out of that convoluted tubing, it looked right. I'm not a complete animal, just partly.
Bobby's seen an IPC rewired all white. And David, he's finally back from picking up his chrome bumpers up north. He's already on one. Welcome, he says, to the vertically challenged. We have Sasquatch at 6'7".
He's vertically challenged the other way. Now, Marv, honest question. As the tallest member of our organization at the moment, do you ever drop something and go, not quite worth picking that up?
All the time. Ask my wife, pisses her off. I got a bad back, so I've had it where I've actually been over to pick something out and I hurt for 3 weeks. So yeah, I hope the dog gets it if it's food or I just leave it.
I've got kids. Hey, you're a lot closer to the ground. Can you grab that for me?
That's why we had kids, right?
Exploitation begins at home for our Star Trek fans.
And Bobby, you're wrong and right at the same time. My challenge is ducking through doors. Well, when I had hair, it was a challenge. It's not a challenge anymore.
All right, we're rolling up on the hour mark here. Yes, Travis
But-
has got he's got the best head of hair of all of us, but
I do. Full head.
dude, you have hair like I wish I had.
It's okay. It's almost solid gray, so I mean it's there. It's just not very colorful.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
gray in here.
I'm starting to get some down here, and I legitimately get wounded about it all the time. I'm like, no.
I will take the gray and distinguished because it's the only hair I've got.
Yeah, my top is pretty much solid. I mean, it is salt and pepper like crazy. But back to
I don't know.
real
So that
things.
must mean this picture was a little bit older then, huh?
Oh no, that has gel in it. Yeah, that's got gel in it there, bud. If you put gel in gray, it will show whatever color is underneath.
Hey, this and more hairstyling, because a couple weeks ago I talked about my hairstyling adventures.
Did you buy a new razor?
No. I started off the last show with we're all about improving our skills, right? So I added to my skill repertoire. My wife asked me to cut her hair.
Oh God. Are you still married?
Yes. She said, I want it this long. Guys, I'm a machinist. You want it this long. It's going to end
He never
long.
did send us pictures though, Travis. I asked for pictures, but
That's because she is too busy in the bathroom trying to fix everything he did.
It turned out okay. I'm still married.
Still married.
Well, it's
and
like
if-
my
remember-
wife. My wife, until about 8 years ago, got her cataracts fixed. I was worried when she came out. I thought, oh, crap, this could be interesting.
Do you still like me now that you can see me? I'm just
I asked her. That's the first thing I said when she came out with her eyes done. She said, yeah, you're okay.
Oh, good. Good.
So okay, hey, I know we're getting ready to end this, so I do want to put this out there, guys. If you are interested in being either a mentor or a mentoree, please reach out. Eric Snow, Marvin Ray, me. I mean, literally anyone. If you just want to post it on the page that you're interested, let us know. The idea here for the mentorship program, I'm trying to pair mentors and mentorees up as close as possible. At least bare minimum, same time zone. That way, I mean, let's face it, we all get up about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. If
Crack
these
of noon
kids, yeah, must be nice, Mr. DOD. Government schedule.
I
But
know
no,
nothing.
I mean, if these kids, they run into something, they want to pick a brain, I want them to be able to call us when it happens, not be like, oh shoot, he's in California or they're in New York, I'll have to wait till tomorrow or I got to call later. So the idea is I'm trying at bare minimum same time zone between mentor and mentoree. Perfect world, I'd like to keep us within 100 miles or so. I know probably not going to go meet up for lunch or anything like that, but I know Oklahoma and Texas have different mentalities and different personalities. I'm trying to make sure your mentor and mentoree get along, because it doesn't help out if you guys have vastly different ideas and thought process and you just bump heads every time you call each other.
Yeah.
So I need guys. If you're interested in learning some leadership, that kind of stuff, keep in mind. And I was trying to bring this up earlier. We got a little sidetracked, but this mentorship program, it's not just for the mentoree. It really isn't. This is an opportunity for you to prove your leadership skills. I've been in this 18 and a half years. I've been blessed because I've been able to get into management, shop foreman positions, owning my own. So I've got the ability to put that on my resume, but a lot of guys don't. A lot of guys have been, 20, 22-year veterans. They're ASE masters or Ford senior master or Chrysler level 3 or that kind of stuff. And they're interested in getting into the shop foreman, the service manager, that kind of position. And management gets weird because, hey, have you ever led a team? Have you ever been in a leadership role? Have you ever done anything like this? And unfortunately, a lot of people's answer is no. So this gives you the opportunity, because guess what? As your mentee gets his certifications, we send you a cool little certificate too that says, hey, I've completed a mentorship program with a mentee. I've taken leadership courses and whatnot. It's a way to prove to your management, your leadership, that you can be a fit for that position. Because Marvin, I'm not trying to pick on you, but at this point, if you didn't own your own, you would much rather be in a leadership managerial position than out there spinning wrenches with us, right?
Or training like I was. Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. In fact, I was just making some notes as you were saying that, because that's a good point. When we're talking to these guys on resumes, and I think, Travis, we should do a post, you and I together, on that, is that, because, so, in the other side of that coin is some guys do it, but they don't put it on there. As I start getting into them with the resumes, to write the resumes, I ask enough questions, and then I find out that they did. But yeah, that is exactly true. If you want to move up into management, shop foreman or something, if you're the guy that's been mentoring and helping the team, you're going to be there. If you're the guy that, I'm not going to help you, I don't want you to steal my hours, you're never going to move out of the bay. You're not. Yeah. It's as simple as that.
And I was just picking on Marvin a little bit, but I mean,
you can never pick on me too much.
Oh, I plan on it. It's not hard. You're like 7 feet tall.
I can do your back so good. I got no problem with it.
No, but I mean, in a serious note, I mean, I've been in for 18 and a half years. My hands hurt during winter. My back's starting to hurt. Marv, you hurt, man. We've heard it, and I mean, you are a tank for continuing to go how you're going. But I mean, guys, at some point you're going to want to stop wrenching. So instead of having these managers that we've already got, that we look at them and we're like, man, you haven't detailed a car, let alone done an oil change. Like, you don't understand the shop. Become the next guy. Hey, I was an ASE Master Tech for 22 years. I did a bunch of leadership stuff. I've been a service manager for X amount of years after that. Those are the service managers that you remember. I've been lucky. I had one like that, and I literally just used what he used to tell me. He was a technician for Fiat for a long time. Yeah, not the new Fiat, the original Fiat.
Yeah. But, fix it again, Tony.
No, dude, nonstop. He used to tell me some QC stories about Stromberg carbs not even being bolted to manifolds and stuff on PDIs. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Fiat, man.
But you talk about that Dave Monica. There's that same example. Here was a service writer that mentored his guys in the shop. He was out there helping them. He was working with them. Yep. That's what got him to be assistant manager, by seeing what they needed, by bringing it to the table. So yeah, it's very powerful in the right hands of the right tech.
So again, guys, send me info. Let me know if you're interested. And I mean, hey, guys, if you want to do the 2-for-1 and you've got someone you work with that you think actually shows potential, man, sign you both up. And I mean, that's where Lily is super, super blessed on this. Is she is actually going to be working in person with someone who's mentoring her along with us. Yeah. So I mean, if we can reproduce that, and we're going to turn out some amazing technicians out of our program. We really are.
Well, that's what we're after. That's what we're after, because everybody else is out there trying to figure it out. And to me, it's real simple. And that's why we dominate and get her done.
So before we end this off, I put up a poll in the group, and only a couple of brave souls dared answer. So what's the right form of the word? Mentee, mentoree, and who knows I'm a mechanic, spelled MEKANIK.
That's the one that won, right?
Yeah.
Well, you saw my post for the in our admin group about our saying or motto. I fix car good.
Yeah, I fix car good. Yeah.
We'll get Og a club, and then he can really argue. I fix car good.
I think Og. Oh, and then it was great too. So I got to finish with this, since we have the dad joke guy over there. So we have a shop that we're working with. The guy's going to open his own shop, and his name of his shop is what, Eric? The acronym is DADS, and he's going to be using dad jokes on his invoices. I said, "Oh, please don't start, Eric."
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was Diagnostics. What was it? It was really good. I mean, I love the name of the shop. I just wouldn't have done the dad joke deal.
It is Direct Automotive Diagnostic and Services.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it, and I would own that 100%. And there would be dad jokes. I'd probably have shop shirt with dad jokes on the back, like I'm wearing at my I tell dad jokes periodically with the European iodine spelling because I'm that much of a weirdo that knows.
I'm pretty sure that with Eric's mentorshipping, that's exactly what's going to happen. So stay tuned. I'll show you some bloopers.
So, just imagine, guys, when you're done with the mentoring, you could be minty fresh.
Here we go.
Oh, brother.
Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week.